Hi, my name is Amber Grabsky, and I'm applying to the ICU position at Manatee Memorial. I really want to apply to this position because I was gracious enough to be able to have a clinical there, and the team dynamic in that unit is what really drew me there. The nurses, all the nurses there on each shift that I've done are so welcoming and warm and so willing to teach that it is probably the one only time that I have truly felt like I belonged somewhere, especially on that unit. They are so willing to teach. They answer every question that I have ever had, and they have just been so accommodating that it was a nice change, because not all units are like that. And I truly was going through clinicals not knowing what specialty that I wanted to go to until I got to that unit and I was able to see the level of care that they were giving each patient and the acuity level. It is such a nice unit and I absolutely loved it there. What made me want to be a nurse was my mom battling breast cancer all throughout my 4 years of high school. I was in and out of the ICU with her because it ended up reaching her brain. So we ended up in and out of there a couple times. And I just remember the nurses up there, they were so caring and they were so compassionate and they were very understanding. Even as, me and my sisters coming in, we were kids. They were just so warm and they took the time to talk to us about what was hooked up to my mom, why it was doing that. They explained steps, what was expected to happen. They were just very informative, but they were informative to enough to make us as kids understand it, especially my dad too, because we all don't come from a medical background. So it was nice to have that level of care with my mom, and then to be able to see that in real life during clinicals. It was very nice and very full circle for me that is where I knew I wanted to be. A situation that caused extreme stress and pressure for me was my first semester doing a clinical at Blake. I was with a nurse in the ER and she happened to be a trauma nurse. And the situation that happened was we got a trauma alert that they were ETA 2 minutes out and it was from a motor vehicle accident and the patient was in cardiac arrest. She told me that my task was to perform CPR. I was to get in line and I was going to do compressions, which was terrifying because I've only ever done them on a mannequin. So I just remember taking a deep breath and telling myself that I knew what I was doing. I knew the depth to go. I knew where to place my hands. I knew how many compressions to do per minute. I knew it. So as the action, it was my turn to come up. I was listening to my nurse. She was right beside me. I was assessing the entire situation around me, not just, what I was doing. I was making sure that I was aware of everybody and what everybody was doing around me. I made sure that I put my hands in the right position on the chest and that I was going the right depth in order to make sure that I was perfusing. And then I made sure I was going the right compressions. As a result, the patient did come back after several minutes. They regained a pulse, and I just remember reflecting on that afterwards on how stressful that was, but I was able to overcome it because I realized I knew what I was doing. It's stressful in that situation because you've never done it, but you have to realize that you've had the training, and I did, and it gave me that confidence to know that if this were to happen again, I know what I'm doing. So that was a huge stressful moment for me, but also such a big learning experience. And everybody was so controlled. Everybody had their roles. It went very smoothly, which was very nice to see it in action. So that was my one that caused me great stress, but it also was my biggest learning moment. Thank you.